Yo!
Hello, good morning / afternoon.
Good
We
morning,
are out
everyone.
here.
We are out here yet again. Where are you guys coming from? Tell us in the comments below. Where are you at? Grace, where are you
Kapwing is
at?
the best video editor. Thanks, Alberto. I am back in the city in San Francisco.
Very good.
But weather is not great, but it's
Mm.
okay because at least I'm hanging out with you, Jack.
Yeah, heck yeah. Shout out New York, Red Rocks. I'm also in New York, like a native
Love
New Yorker.
it. New
Where's
Yorker.
everyone else at? Let's put it in the chat. We want to hear. Let's go global. Tell us where you're at. And if you're not there, just lie. Just tell us you're somewhere cool.
Just where do you want to be, maybe, is another question you could answer if you don't want to say where you are.
That's a good one, Grace. I want to be nowhere else but right here with you guys on our show, What's Going On? Our weekly live show that discusses news that affects you, the creator. We are your hosts, Jack and Grace, and today we're talking about what's going on with the music industry and the impact of TikTok on it. We're going to be talking about TikTok as a marketing platform for musicians, music labels forcing artists to go viral before allowing them to put out new music, and whether or not TikTok is corrupting the music industry and art as a whole. Big questions here today.
Lots of big
disclaimer,
questions.
Always big questions on this show. Disclaimer, we're not experts in the field. In fact, we're only in our young 20s, Red Rocks, who's asking. So we're not experts. But if you are hoping to learn and discuss with us, please put it in the chat. That's what we want. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you guys never miss one of these live shows, and you can keep up with news that affects you guys. Grace, what's going on?
Jack, lots of stuff, I feel like. So
always.
Yeah, for this particular topic, there have been kind of some spicy tea or like controversies going on around, these like record label or musicians and music artists are claiming that their record labels are forcing them to make TikToks, or they're forcing them to not release music until they put out more TikToks and like kind of have a marketing viral moment for a specific song or just their album. And so, all these people, all like Halsey, Charlie, some other people have been actually making videos and putting them on TikTok. Kind of, they sound kind of scary in a way. It's like almost being held hostage. Metaphorically.
You can read some of them here. Halsey says, my record company is saying that I can't release a song until I have a fake viral moment. When the label asked me to make my 8th TikTok this week, Florence and the Machine said, the label is begging me to post lo-fi TikToks, so here you go. It's true, all record labels ask for our TikToks. I got told off today for not putting enough effort, says FKA Twigs. So definitely a thing that's happening to artists right now.
But what's the other part of the controversy, Jack?
So the controversy is that some people don't believe these people. So
straight up,
So that's the controversy, is that all these people are coming out saying this. So either it feels like either this is incredibly true and happening to all artists, or this has become its own marketing moment where these artists are like, oh, I can make a viral moment on TikTok if I make people sort of feel bad for me and tell them that the label wants this. And so there was actually a lot of flack happening to a lot of these artists for saying stuff like this. I can show you guys in the next slide. So obviously all these artists came out. I would say Halsey is someone who people just generally don't like and like to hate. So take it with a grain of salt. But people were definitely like on Halsey. Oh, I realized there's a curse word in this. Apologies. Just realized that. But people saying that Halsey's not telling the truth. And just like sort of roasting Halsey over saying this. And then people saying like, no, it's true. All these other artists said it, and then Charlie XCX said, "No, not me. I was just lying for fun," which got people thinking like, "Oh, maybe this is just sort of a marketing ploy by artists to sort of blame the labels and then sort of come off as like these, I don't know, like grounded and relatable artists and make us feel bad for them and get us to, I don't know. It's like I feel like you see so many things on TikTok that's like, check out my new song, it's about to drop, and then it's like kind of cringe, right? So this is like a new way of subverting that, but still putting out the song on TikTok. So that's the controversy. I don't know what you think, Grace.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I just think this kind of goes back to like, you never know what is true and what is not on the internet. Like people can say anything, right? And maybe it is a little bit different because so many different artists are coming out and saying similar things. But then, you know, you have Charlie on the other hand, who's like, yeah, I was just lying. But then it's like, well, is she just saying that to like
just be trolling, yeah.
Or yeah, she's trolling. Like everyone just doesn't know. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of that meme where the Spider-Mans are all like pointing at each other.
Right.
It's like, well, we don't know if anyone is telling the truth in this circle.
Right.
I mean, I will say like TikTok does seem to have a lot, like in the past few years, we've seen a lot of artists blow up and like gain huge worldwide audiences because they've been posting TikToks, right? Like I feel like Olivia Rodrigo, I always think back to her being like, hey, my name's Olivia. I wrote this song about getting my driver's license. And then just like now is a worldwide phenomenon. And same with like Lil Nas X. He's been posting so many different things. Right. So it does make sense to me that record labels would go see some of these cases. Maybe that was like, maybe they were behind those initial like people blowing up as well. They were like, hey, TikTok's like getting really good traction. Maybe you should try marketing more of your music on there. I could see other record labels being like, okay, yeah, TikTok is the way to go. Like you have to be doing this to like be in the game.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like they're actually being forced to, or if it's like, oh, maybe you should make a TikTok about like being forced to, and like it could get views just because people like you and want to support you and help you, you know? So I guess that's my take. I'm not saying that they're lying, but I'm also just not sure. Like, I don't think anyone can be sure.
Right.
What about you, Jack?
Ultimately, I don't know, but I can see like some of these artists are pretty well respected. Like Florence and the Machine, I don't feel like she's someone who's gonna like she's like off frolicking in the woods, you know, like I don't think she's gonna like troll. So like I sort of feel like it is real. But it brings up the question, like also like all press is good press. Like it seems like these artists probably are being asked to make TikToks, and this is like the only thing they know how, or only way they know how, and record labels might not care if they're being dragged for it, because it's like as long as people are listening to the song, they don't care. Like it doesn't matter if they're well liked as long as people are listening to the song.
Yeah, right. Like just like get eyeballs on it, and it'll like that starts turning the wheel, and then from there you can like get really big just from that.
Right. Yeah. It brings up like a hard question too, like is TikTok sort of hurting the music industry and art in general, which is sort of what this whole conversation, this whole episode is about. Because if this is true and they're like forcing viral moments, like will we ever get music that's for music's sake, or is it always just going to be like you have to churn out a hit song with short chorus that's going to like hook the people on TikTok, and then you know it's not like a musician era where they can flourish? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, although part of me also feels like this isn't isolated to TikTok, or like TikTok didn't start this necessarily. Maybe it's speeding it up, like because people so quickly can view content and like see like, oh, this thing is working, this thing is not, so like let's do more of what's working. Like that kind of data is so, and the data, like there's so many people watching that you can tell really easily. But I still think back to like some artists, like I feel like Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, who have been making music for a while, like even before TikTok was around. I feel like they started kind of in one genre and then like went more towards the poppy, like pop, like,
Right.
you know, kind of the same vibe of pop music, which didn't feel like them. So I don't know, maybe it's more of a question, like not just TikTok, but is this need to like be in the like the trend, is that also hurting art? I think yes. I think like that's, as being a creator and artist, you always have to like think about, is this something I want to make, or is this something that, and is this something that can like I can like live and make money off of, because like we all have to survive at the end of the day. I think that's like the hardest part of creating art.
Totally. Yeah, what do you guys think? Tell us in the comments. This is live. People keep saying, I didn't realize this was live. This is live. Chat with us.
It says live.
We're interested in your opinions on this. I agree. I tend to think that, yeah, I mean, I sort of think that whenever you're trying to market yourself in any way, it gets in the way of like true creative art for art's sake, right? But ultimately, yeah, like it is a business, it's an industry. So how can we balance the two? I just sort of feel like we have gone from like an era where songs were like longer, and like I think now, because TikTok is, you know, I mean, now they're technically 3 minutes, but like, you know, usually they're much less, and our attention spans, I feel like, are shorter than ever. Like songs have even gotten shorter. Like they're not doing like long verses, or usually it's just like a few lines and then it jumps straight into the chorus, and then a few lines and jumps straight into the chorus again. Like it definitely, I feel like it's prioritizing these pop songs that are like super catchy and short. And also like, no hate towards anyone, but like songs that are really, really simple. I think like if we look at this song that's huge on TikTok, the A, B, C, D, E, F, U, it's like so simple. She's literally reciting the alphabet. There's almost nothing innovative about the lyrics. And it's caused such a viral moment. And on top of that, we learned that it was actually all a marketing ploy. Someone asked her on TikTok to make a song with the ABCs, and it was actually just someone from her label asking her the question. They made that song to then like try and start a viral moment, and it worked. So it does sort of feel like there's like definitely like meddling from like big industry in music, and a sort of like dumbing down of music on TikTok. No offense. Hope the person who made that song's not watching. How I feel.
Yeah. No, I can see what you mean. I think if you like look back at music from like decades ago, it feels almost like there's more depth. And that's not to say all music nowadays is like all the same and it's all so simple, right? But I think definitely what you're seeing on TikTok feels, this comment from Izzy Dub Music. TikTok tailors to the masses. Yeah, short form media is what's hot. So it's like you almost, it's like you want to make what you think is art and what you want, but also like this is, you got to play the game, you know, to get views and eyeballs on your stuff. Which is, it's kind of unfortunate. I think this is why like artists and creators have been burning out, because that's so tiring. And you're like always thinking from this like perspective outside yourself of like, I want to make this thing, but is this like what other people would want to see? I personally like got really tired of doing that for my own content. And so I feel like, I don't know how like sustainable that can be when you're always thinking of like the marketing angle or moment.
Right. And it also like, I feel like is interesting because I feel like now like sort of classic artists who grew up making music or have been making music for, you know, a decade or more, like are now sort of competing with TikTok musicians. So like to compete and get this, especially for pop music, like to compete and get that market share of like young listeners and TikTok listeners, you're now competing with like the Bella Porches and the Dixie D'Amelios and the Addison Rays, who have like started on TikTok, gone towards music, frankly, are not making, again, I'm not hating, but like they're definitely like formulaic, I think, music. It's quick, it's catchy.
Right.
This is live. Yes, you guys keep asking this is
I
live.
don't know why people keep getting confused.
But so now they're competing like with, you know, people who've been making music for quite a long time. And to try and like capture that market share, you're going to have to yourself make sort of like, I don't know, perhaps make dumbed down music that will compete with this like really catchy music that the TikTokers are making, because that's what people like, clearly. So I think in some ways it's like now we're in competition with, like, we're sort of forcing our like musicians that we grew up with to try and make music that that isn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I kind of know what you mean. I also feel like, though, like part of me feels a little sad that it's like so formulaic. But on the other hand, it's getting competitive because everyone is empowered to become a creator and build anything they want. You know, like you can be some person who just has like a regular job, or like in school and you don't have this like industry background necessarily, and you can get famous. Like I think that is really amazing too, that anyone can like fulfill their dreams and become a big star if that's what you want, without having those connections that a lot of these like legendary musicians do have. So I guess that's the flip side, is like when you empower everyone to create and like in the way that TikTok I feel like has, then a lot of these people who are in the industry or like have those connections are now like scrambling to like be in the ring with this kind of stuff.
Right.
And I guess that's like ultimately, you know, kind of the idea behind this is getting really meta, but like that's the idea behind like capitalism, right? Is like the best like solution can win or whatever. And like maybe in art there's like an aspect of that where you had like the best art wins, but then it's still not.
Well, you have to question how much is marketing and training our brains to like love that content, because that's what we're being fed. I mean, I think Ryan, shout out to Ryan, that's my neighbor, thinks it feels only formulaic because we're in it. Like music was, it's just a different vibe. Like music feels like social media now. I think that's what it is, right? Like they're innately tied together. Where I think before it was like sort of two different industries, and now they're melding into one. And it feels strange. But I do agree with Izzy Dub. I think the open verse trend on TikTok is great. And I think that's sort of what Grace was getting at, is like there are definitely opportunities for great musicians to rise, but I think it also trains musicians to not put out something that's like unique or like you know, sort of experimental, and just more so go towards like a tried and true formula.
Yeah, that's fair.
My money don't jiggle jiggle.
Yes, we all love it.
I do like that trend.
That trend is funny.
Yeah.
Also,
Ryan brings up a good question, which is what we were getting at the beginning of the show. Do you think that it was, this Halsey moment was real or fake? I think, I can't tell if it was real or fake, because I feel like people just hate Halsey. Like it's popular to hate Halsey. But also like a lot of other artists have been saying the same thing. So I think it's probably, I feel like there's probably some truth, and they're in their minds, they're like, and it can be a marketing moment, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. Do you guys think it was, the Halsey thing was real or a marketing moment?
Yeah, to remind you guys, it's all of these,
this whole trend.
This whole trend of all these artists coming out and saying that they.
Although I will say, on her TikTok, in the comments, someone was like, maybe this is the marketing moment. Like they were bringing that up on her actual video, and she was like, no, they just told me to post TikToks. So they didn't like, it sounds like, if we take her word for it, it sounds like they told her to post TikToks. They didn't say that you have to have like a marketing viral moment necessarily. Maybe that's what they hope for, but it almost sounds like to me they just want her to be active on TikTok, which is like, kind of like, again, you have to put yourself out there and like get, you know, you yourself have so much power as the artist in like getting people to listen to your stuff. So why not use that power? I don't know. I can see it both ways. It's a weird. I mean, if you don't want to do it, if the artist does not want to do it, I feel like you should respect their wishes. But I don't work in the music industry.
I think this is a good point too from Phoenix. I saw someone make a comparison to musicians in the early 2000s optimizing songs for ringtones. And now it's for TikTok. I think that's a really interesting point. Like we can always see music is for profit. I mean, that's, they're always going to try and go for the thing that's making money. That's pretty sobering, Phoenix. This is Robert.
Throwback to when we paid like $1 for ringtones.
This is Robert, like Robert, like Robert. Shout out Robert.
Yeah. This is also
what?
No, there's this comment too. The downfall is because you have to push out so much content. I think, and I honestly think this is what a lot of the artists that from this like whole thing with Halsey and all those people, it feels like they're like complaining more about like how much their labels want them to post. Like I saw another one that was like when your record label tells you have to post at least 2 TikToks a day, which is like not the most in like if you're doing it for a week, but yeah, if you have to do 2 TikToks a day for the rest of your life or something, or like the next few years, that does sound like really tiring. And so it's like, obviously if you're an artist, it's like, wait, I'm supposed to be making music and being my own like marketing agency while I'm doing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is the right ask.
Right. I mean, it's hard enough for like social media creators to post 2 a week. Like now imagine people who that's not even their gig. Like to force that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. I also think back to like
all the homies are here
Robert.
Today.
I also think about like TikTok was Musical.ly, like its whole thing was music. I know like TikTok now has changed so many industries, like not just music, but like cooking and fashion and beauty and all that stuff. But like TikTok and Musical.ly have had music in their kind of like product framework for a long time. So it kind of makes sense that like music and the music industry is like, wait, like this is literally built for us in some ways. We should use it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Musical.ly, it all starts from there. Throwback. And now it seems like like labels are definitely like at first I think people were like sort of hijacking music and using those sounds on TikTok, but now it feels like the labels are like actively wanting people to use their music. So it's definitely been a big shift in reaction, I think, from artists and labels towards TikTok. I think ultimately it's kind of a sad thing for artists, but it's the world we live in. And hopefully there will always be, there always will be a counterculture, right, of artists who will refuse, who will not sort of be taking that path. And hopefully there's a place for everyone in this industry, we can only hope.
Yeah. Support your local musicians on TikTok or wherever they are.
Right. Or maybe like Patreon, better yet, like maybe like with koalas.
Yeah, like this also does remind me of this whole conversation about Spotify and some streaming platforms that don't pay musicians much at all, but they get the reach. So it's like, it's always just a balancing act. Like obviously you want the reach and the exposure, but then you need to also be compensated fairly for your work. So
right. Well, my cousin's husband actually owns an indie record label, and I asked him about that, and he was like, actually, like Spotify's great. Like streams are awesome because pre-Spotify, people like artists are actually making more now in general because pre-Spotify, people were only spending I think like $10 a month on music. Like they'd buy like one album, like every couple months or something. And now you can, like there's so many subscriptions happening that it's actually not too bad. I mean, the music industry's always screwed at artists, right? So it's not like seemingly not so much worse than it was before to him. Go stream your favorite artists, go buy And yeah, that's all we can hope for these legends. All right.
Yes.
I think that wraps up my thoughts.
Yeah, good
Grace, you
convo,
good?
y'all. Yeah. I feel like I said my piece. I think we'll just also have to see like how things progress. Because TikTok has only been around for a few years ultimately, you know? So
yeah,
who knows what'll pop up next.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys
Sweet.
so much for watching What's Going On. We're here every Friday, except for next Friday, because I'm taking the day off. And yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bells so you never miss when our live streams are going on. We love chatting with you guys. Thank you guys so much for chatting with us. And
Art will
we will see you guys in the next one.
this.
Art will prevail.
Yay.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
And this is live, but we are ending now.
This is live. Goodbye.
Goodbye.